Speaking of funding, President Buhari has requested a fresh $4 billion and 170 million euros from the National Assembly. This was in a letter that was read out by the Senate President to the legislature. The president, of course, this is sequel to just 2 months ago, an $850 million loan plus about a little over 100 million euros that was requested a couple months ago that was approved by the legislature. According to the president, this is required for emergency critical assets. And then the Central Bank of Nigeria has announced an international financial center. Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele made this announcement at the ongoing Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria 14th annual conference on how the financial sector can aid Nigeria's economy. Joining us to discuss further, our RISE business analyst Chika Mbonu is with us. Chika, you're very welcome. Thank you so much. I'm doing fine.
Let me start with the Shell Guaranty Trust Bank.
Shell, okay, yes.
Simply because Guaranty Trust Bank is the most liquid bank in Nigeria in dollars. And so if the MD speaks, anything that has to do with dollars, we must have listened. Indeed, once you see GTB cards in UK, Naira cards in UK, limits being reduced, just know it's a signal that something's going to happen in the FX market. If $2.3 million in the assets, Shell assets, $1 billion in assets.
Yes.
Okay, let's even say 30% contribution by whoever is buying, which comes to bring it about $1.8 billion. I don't think any Nigerian bank has that cash flow now in a foreign currency to do that. Now, the other thing that's happened is that a lot of the Nigerian banks who have dollar positions have done dollar swaps with Central Bank of Nigeria, and those swaps are not reversed. So that's another problem. Now, so you will also don't want to clutter the syndication, because to raise that money, you need to get syndicated. You don't want to clutter the whole syndication. So you don't want to do maximum, let's say, 6 banks.
Okay.
So $300 million per bank. Indeed, that would be even a push to get banks in Nigeria that will give you $300 million now without, without checking.
Right.
So that's what Shego, the MD of GTB, said is correct. And it's going to be a major challenge. So it has to be syndication, both locally and internationally. And so as even Shell wants to dispense of more assets, we're going to have problems doing that, especially when we want Nigerians locals to acquire those assets.
Thanks, Chika. Shall you discuss the central banks?
The financial center.
Yes.
Yeah. We're looking forward to that. So Nigeria will be the hub. Just like, you have the financial center in New York.
Yes.
You have London, you have Hong Kong. And so, maybe you'll be the one for Africa. And then as far as what the critical social factors required for that, I wonder where the compatibility of our currency will fall into in these.
Yes.
And of course, the infrastructure required, not the one that you're on the internet trying to do your transactions and then everything is hanging. And so it's 24-hour cycle. So I mean that will help the country, especially as the new initiative, the e-Naira, and so many initiatives that the Central Bank is trying to put in play.
Yes. Thank you for that, Chika. Shall we discuss debt now?
Yeah, let me
President's new request.
Let me talk about debt.
Yes.
We don't do politics.
No.
We'll discuss that.
Business.
And we'll talk business. Sometimes you hear people write that the president of Nigeria, current president of Nigeria, Buhari, has taken Nigeria through 2 recessions.
Yes.
As if with a negative tag. But you will find that those recessions, the first one's going on, why not trust on us? They're not actually due to anything that he did. Because the first one was 2016.
Yes.
Was due to fall in oil prices. And then 2020, again, trust on us by COVID.
Yes.
Now, so when you have issues of that, remember I told you that it's so easy to analyze Nigerian economy.
Yes.
You just look at the price of oil. Well, all those the two recessions were triggered off by what?
Oil prices. Yeah, dropping. Yes.
Yeah, and so when oil prices fall, of course, oil is about 80% of our revenues.
Yes.
90% or more of our foreign exchange. Now, so when that happens, what happens is revenues fall. But the government has to run.
Exactly.
So they have to borrow.
Borrow.
So that's trust on them. So I mean, you wouldn't say that because of that, government shouldn't borrow. The government has to run. But the fundamental issue is as follows: one, what do you do with the money you borrow?
Yeah.
Now, sometimes our Minister for Finance speaks with her tongue in cheek, and let me explain it to our viewers. Now, one of the criteria for measuring the debt of a country is what they call the debt to GDP ratio.
Yes.
Now, let me put it out there. For a country of our size, I think it's between 25% now.
Yes.
And it's moved up to 40%.
Yes.
It's very low. Because countries of our size, similar countries, some of them has 80%, 90%.
Yes.
Now, the next thing that happens is that another ratio,
yes,
which is called the revenue to GDP ratio. Now, that GDP that you have, is it sweating enough to generate revenue? And that's where the problem is for our country. So when the minister says we have capacity in the GDP to borrow
more, right.
Borrow more, the people who put that ratio out also tied it to second ratio, which is revenue to the GDP ratio. How much of your GDP, how is it sweating? Ours is the lowest in the whole world. So you have capacity to borrow on one hand, but you don't have capacity to service the debts.
Right.
On the other hand, measured by the revenue to GDP ratio, how much the GDP sweating. So that's the problem that we have. And so you will find that the report that we had before,
from the Center for Social Justice. I think we can put up some of those charts. Yes, there it is.
Yeah, so, it's not surprising, therefore, that the money we spend on debt service over from 2015 to date is twice. The money we spend on debt service
11.6 trillion.
It's like twice the money we spend on capital expenditure.
Right.
It's not surprising because of the fact that when you have a recession, they say spend your way through the recession.
Right.
Spend your way through the recession. What it means for Nigeria now, oil prices are low, which is a major no. So you have to borrow to spend your way through recession. Now, but if you're borrowing, for me, these are the issues for me now with the government. Remember, I said I don't blame them for the recession because it was on us. The issue is, what have you done? What are the things you're doing to help, get us out of that recession? Yes. Now, the first recession, was a confusion. Initially, a lot of things they're supposed to do, they didn't do them on timely basis. And so the Nigerians are stuck in there for a long time. Now, if you push that more, you'll find that when you're borrowing, when you're living a lifestyle of borrowing, even personal lifestyle, the life of profligacy must be reduced.
Right, correct.
Now, do recall, the Rosanya report.
Which we talked about on the
show.
Yeah.
We had a promise.
In October
2019 and 2020, that is going to be the driver for 2022 budget.
Right.
You and me have not heard of that since then.
Nothing.
There was a promise by the head of state that the presidential fleet is going to be reduced. Nothing happened about that. Now, look at, I saw the convoy from Imo State Airport to the inside the town when he went to visit Imo State. So they almost a convoy of 100 cars. So look at the report that came out for the Port Harcourt refinery.
No revenues.
No revenues.
50-something
billion losses. Cumulative losses in the last 3 years about 300 billion naira. Last year they employed more than 400 people. A plant that is not producing. The year before the same thing. So you live a life of profligacy, as if you're earning money. So you find that the issue is this debt you are accumulating. What are you doing with it? Now the next aspect of it is this. So as I said that one, I said a lot of them are sneaking into what? Revenue expenditure. That's everyday expenditure. Now, if they're being spent on capital expenditure, that will create wealth for our country, employ people, and it cycles around to pay back that debt, we're happy. Okay, look at the railway between Abuja and Kaduna.
Yep.
You saw what has happened. A new railway solved something.
Yeah.
What happened? The train has broken down. The Ibadan one also is broken down. That cannot happen abroad. It will be a shame. People have to resign. So the issue is, what are we doing with that money? And finally, before is oversight. Before the National Assembly will approve this one, they must go and ask the last ones you borrowed, what did you do with it?
Gotcha.
And so they'll check through it and make sure that those ones are used for what they're meant for.
All right, Business Analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, thank you for taking
Thanks
us to the stories.